Welcome to Tesla Daily News Podcast. I'm your host, and today is Sunday, March 8th, 2026. In the next few minutes, we're talking about the Tesla headlines that actually matter for shareholders, a major Supercharger expansion, a big Megapack win in France, new signals on full self-driving approvals abroad, and the competitive pressure coming from China, plus a quick check on the broader market tape that's been moving Tesla. Story 1. Tesla is quietly building what could become the biggest Supercharger site on the planet. The hook is simple. One location in California is being planned for more than 400 charging stalls. Here's the context. Charging is no longer just a nice-to-have feature. It's part of Tesla's moat. It supports vehicle demand, it supports resale values, and now that more non-Tesla EVs can use superchargers in many markets, it becomes a high-traffic infrastructure business. The details come from reporting that Tesla is preparing a massive expansion in Yermo, California, on the site of a commercial complex called Eddy World 2. The plan is for more than 400 V4 generation charging posts. The report notes a first phase that includes 72 V4 stalls. Impact for investors. If Tesla can scale these mega hubs on major travel corridors, it reduces charging friction, which is still one of the top reasons mainstream buyers hesitate on EVs. And it matters financially because charging revenue is increasingly diversified, more sessions, higher utilization, and potentially higher margin software and services attached to the charging experience over time. Takeaway. Watch for Tesla to keep building destination-scale supercharger hubs. The market tends to value Tesla's ecosystem when it looks durable and hard to replicate. Story 2. Tesla's energy business just landed a marquee project in France, the largest battery installation in the country. Hook. Tesla has installed what's being described as the biggest battery power plant in France. Context. For Tesla valuation, the energy segment is still smaller than automotive, but it's the piece investors point to when they want a next leg story beyond car deliveries and price cuts. Grid storage also benefits from long-term demand drivers, renewables expansion, grid stability, and peak shifting. Details. French tech outlet Frandroid reports a major battery storage site in the Marne region using Tesla Megapacks, calling it the largest battery installation in France. Impact. Projects like this help in two ways. First, they demonstrate that Tesla is not just selling batteries, it's becoming a trusted infrastructure supplier for utilities and grid operators. Second, they strengthen the argument that energy storage can scale into a meaningful revenue and profit contributor, which can support a higher multiple if margins hold up. Takeaway. When you see largest in-country Megapack headlines, don't treat them as PR fluff. They're demand signals, and they're evidence that Tesla's energy backlog and deployment cadence remain key catalysts. Story 3. Tesla's full self-driving push outside the US is picking up speed, with Europe and Japan both in focus. Hook. Tesla is staffing up for FSD in Europe and targeting an official rollout window for Japan in 2026. Context. Autonomy is the biggest swing factor in Tesla's narrative. Bulls see software-like margins and recurring revenue. Bears see regulatory friction, safety scrutiny, and slower-than-promised timelines. Either way, any credible step toward approvals is stock-moving. Details. Turkish outlet Donanım Haber reports Tesla has accelerated hiring tied to FSD preparation in Europe, and it expects the first official approval this month in the Netherlands. A separate Donanım Haber report says Tesla is expanding autonomous driving tests in Tokyo and added the Model Y to its test fleet, with a stated target to launch supervised FSD in Japan during 2026. Impact. If Tesla secures a Netherlands regulatory path, it can become a template for broader European approvals. Europe matters because it's a high SP market, it's competitive, and regulatory acceptance there improves investor confidence in global scalability. Japan matters because it's a credibility market, strict standards, careful consumers, and strong domestic competition. Takeaway. Investors should track not just software version updates, but hiring, test fleet expansion, and country-by-country approval pathways. Those are the breadcrumbs that precede revenue. Story 4. The Tesla app update points to vehicle-to-grid and next-generation trip planning, a reminder that Tesla's product is increasingly software. Hook. Tesla's iOS app update is being linked to V2G support and a new trip planner. Context. Tesla's advantage isn't only battery efficiency or manufacturing scale, it's the integrated experience, where the car, the app, charging, and energy products work together. If Tesla can expand into vehicle-to-grid, that's not just a feature, it's a potential market. Details. Japanese site TouchLab reports that Tesla app version 4.54.5 on iOS includes references, found via app update analysis, to V2G, vehicle-to-grid, and a next-generation trip planner. Impact. V2G allows an EV battery to send power back to the grid or to a home. For investors, the key is optionality. If Tesla enables V2G at scale, it could strengthen the Powerwall and Megapack ecosystem, support grid services revenue, and improve the total cost of ownership story for buyers. The trip planner improvements, meanwhile, help conversion by reducing range anxiety and improving charging convenience. Takeaway: keep watching the software layer. Tesla's incremental app and UI changes often foreshadow future monetization or new product tie-ins. Story 5. Competitive pressure from China is intensifying, and it's not just about price anymore. Hook. BYD's latest battery and fast charging claims are setting a new benchmark that forces every EV maker, including Tesla, to respond. Context. The big question for Tesla margins is whether competition forces further price cuts or whether Tesla can defend share through cost reduction, software differentiation, and charging leadership. Details from multiple reports. Electrek highlights BYD flash charging demonstrations on the Seal 07 EV, with charging from 10% to 70% in 5 minutes. Separate international coverage cites BYD's Blade Battery 2.0, including claims of extremely fast charging and high-range figures. Another report citing TrendForce data says the global market for new energy vehicles reached about 20.53 million units in 2025, up about 26% year-over-year, with BYD leading and Tesla in second place, and mentions a roughly 9% figure associated with Tesla in that dataset. Impact. Even if you discount marketing ranges and focus on real-world performance, the direction is clear. Charging speed and battery scaling are accelerating in China. That increases the risk that Tesla's hardware differentiation narrows over time, putting more weight on Tesla's cost structure, brand, Supercharger network, and autonomy roadmap to justify premium valuation. Takeaway. Tesla investors should separate headline specs from adoption reality, but not ignore the trend. The competitive set is improving quickly, and that tends to pressure margins unless Tesla keeps winning on cost and ecosystem. Story 6. 2 separate reputation and risk items, one operational, one legal, are worth monitoring. Hook. A Cybertruck fire incident and a lawsuit tied to a prior workplace assault are both hitting the news cycle. Context. Isolated incidents rarely move fundamentals, but they can affect sentiment, regulatory attention, and brand perception, especially during periods when the market is already risk-off. Details. Electrek reports that 2 Tesla Cybertrucks were destroyed in a fire on the roof of a parking structure in Santa Monica, with several other Tesla vehicles damaged. It notes neither truck was plugged in and charging at the time. Separately, CBS News and the Austin American-Statesman report on a lawsuit alleging that the suspect in a recent Austin mass shooting assaulted a woman at a Tesla facility in December, and that warning signs were not adequately addressed. Impact. The fire story can feed negative narratives about EV safety even when details are incomplete. The lawsuit story is more material from a governance perspective. It can raise questions about workplace safety procedures and HR escalation, and that can matter for legal exposure and reputational risk. Takeaway. For traders, these stories can create short-term volatility. For long-term investors, the key is whether they evolve into broader regulatory action, recurring defects, or meaningful litigation costs. Quick market check. Macro pressure is still part of the Tesla tape. A Hong Kong finance report notes a risk-off U.S. session with the Dow down sharply and Tesla down around 2% in that move, alongside rising oil, volatility picking up, and weak jobs data. Tesla often trades like a high-beta tech name in these environments, even when the underlying company news is neutral. Now, let's wrap it up. Today's big themes were Tesla expanding the infrastructure moat with a potential 400-plus stall V4 Supercharger hub, Tesla Energy landing a largest in France Megapack project, and the autonomy roadmap showing tangible international signals in Europe and Japan. At the same time, China's battery and charging leap is raising the bar, and a couple of risk headlines remind us how quickly sentiment can shift. For tomorrow, watch for any follow-up on the Netherlands FSD approval timeline, more details on the California Supercharger megasite build-out, and whether the market's risk mood stays elevated, because that can amplify Tesla moves even without new company-specific catalysts. If you want this kind of Tesla-focused, investor-first breakdown every day, subscribe to Tesla Daily News Podcast and follow us wherever you get your podcasts for the next episode.